Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyra here with another Exos Heroes video. And in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the two new updates that they just released on Facebook here. Let's just get straight into it. A couple new updates that I think are worth getting excited about. First thing is going to be the Choice Fatecore Re. They're going to be replacing that from the First Guardians over to the Banga family. At the time of me recording this, there's 14 hours left remaining on the Choice Fatecore Re for the First Guardian characters. Then after that's done, it's going to be replaced with the Banga family. And my quick thoughts on them. I think these characters they're pretty solid. They're useful in pretty much all content. They counter, kind of funny that they're doing this, that they had the First Guardians and then they almost directly counter the First Guardian characters. So then they're putting these guys out. You know, if you ever see them in PvP, if you have one of these Banga characters, they do a really good job of beating First Guardians with the Heartstrike passive. The ones that I really like, Tauntalo, Adams, like I almost like them all. Me personally, I pulled Tauntalo, Heckin, and Adams, and I think they're all really good. I like Tauntalo because he has a dot, so he applies this thing really fast. Counter applies it really well. Heckin's cool because he's fast, and I use him in the challenges, and he has a dot, so it applies on the lunatic challenges for fire days. I've been using him, and he's been pretty clutch. So the second the blind's done on the boss, it's over. It doesn't matter how long it takes me to actually kill the boss if I get unlucky and like other people die or whatever. So I really like these characters. I just don't think that they're, for most people, I really don't think they're worth pulling for it. Like, for example, I just did a video on Brooke. I really like Brooke, but these characters are kind of, if I pull them going for another Fatecore, if like this was a choice, like let's say there's a new gold Fatecore out and I'm pulling for it, and then I red cape. It's not the character I'm looking for, but it's one of these. I'm not going to be too disappointed. I'm still going for the correct Fatecore, but I get a character that I'm going to use, not all the time, but still actually pretty good. I just don't think for most people they're worth actively going for specifically. Some things to keep in mind here. So when you actually make the choice, it locks in, and then it's just going to be like a typical Fatecore increase rates event for you for whatever character you choose. And then you might as well choose because you only have a week anyway. You don't have to pull for it, whatever. I'm probably going to pick one of the ones I don't have. I don't even think I'm going to pull for them. I think it's probably smart to wait now. Like we've had kind of a decent amount of time of just kind of chilling without a new character. Yes, we just got Valentina, and I think they're kind of letting people relax a bit. And then they're probably going to do this week. And then maybe next week is going to be like the next string of characters. I guess we'll see on how they want to play it. But I just feel like all these new things that they've been doing are kind of like these ways to entice you to use your zest. So stay strong. Don't waste your zest on stuff like this. Hold it for the real meta-defining game changers that potentially can happen in the future. I don't blame you if you go for these guys. These guys are fun. These guys are really good. Another thing to keep in mind too, the first recruit though is only 200 zest. So I think it's worth it just to take a shot. I mean, if anything, just take a shot for 200 zest. I think that's totally worth it. But then I know it's easy to just, once you get that first pull, just to keep going. Pretty much it when it comes to these Choice Fatecore Re's. Even though I'm saying don't pull for these, I think it's cool that they're doing this, especially for people that, when it came to the First Guardians, because they're just so impactful in the game, that each one you pull matters so much for an account. So I really like that they started with that, especially if you're a newer player, you had zest, you're kind of bummed you didn't get a chance to ever get one of those. They are at least allowing that possibility. And then as they keep going through, like, you know, eventually with summer characters, you know, for people wanting to pull Iris, I like this a lot more than I used to have to, you know, recommend people. It's like, oh, okay, so you're just starting out. Like this is before Iris came out, but you would see that the string for the First Guardian characters is coming out in a few weeks or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess they can end up picking them up from a string, you know, like, and that's an awful recommendation. It just feels bad. You mean, even though, yes, it's technically correct, it's coming in a string. I don't like recommending people a string. I like that there's at least this option too. It's not like a perfect solution. They're not getting the same benefit that we got where we get, you know, every single, like a full week for each character. They're stuck with only picking one, but at least it's massively better than a string. So the next part of the update is going to be the new core raid. And for the most part, core raids are fine. They're kind of, for me personally, they get boring really fast, but they have massively good rewards. Just even if you don't go for like the stages, which you obviously should go for, there's no reason why you shouldn't, but just the daily polish materials you get and the experience tomes you get, if you just use your levy stones for this, and then specifically only buy the good stuff, which is, you know, polish materials and XP tomes. Also, they updated the stages. Normally it was like The first couple stages were garbage. Well, the first stage was always going to be treasure hunter Gale. Second stage is usually like, I don't know, some kind of challenge tickets or whatever, and then eventually goes into faded pieces of gear. Whereas this time, it's immediately goes into faded pieces of gear, like faded armor and then faded weapon, and then it goes into 10 nation recruit tickets, which is essentially just 700 Zess, kind of like a fancier way of saying 700 Zess, and then a Fatecore hero recruit ticket, which is obviously awesome. Most of these, pretty much all of these have been easy or relatively easy content, so pretty much everyone's going to be able to clear this and get that guaranteed Fatecore. I would set my expectations to a black level Fatecore, in my opinion, because I've been seeing pretty low drop rates for blue or gold Fatecores whenever I see these, like, you know, guaranteed Fatecore recruit tickets. But Fatecore nonetheless, really cool that they're offering that. Okay, and so now that we've got the updates out of the way, because this is a video about the Choice Fatecore re on the Banga family, I figured I would close out the video with my quick opinions on that faction. So let's go over here and talk about these characters. Going for this string after, you know, there was really nothing much to do in the game currently. I think this is around the time of like Degos and, you know, like some pretty garbage summertime characters were coming out. So I was like, screw it, I'll just go for them. And then ended up, you know, on the free pulls, I just pulled Tantalo. So was really excited about that because I think he's the best one out of all of them. But actually getting to use these characters, I think they're really solid. So the main places I use them is going to be in PvP and like tag team. I like to have one on my team in case I'm facing on my second or third team. I like to throw them on a team because it'll allow me to deal with first guardian characters. Plus they're just good characters overall. And if they don't have any first guardian characters, the Heartstrike passive is just amazing in general. That's why I like to have them on there. And then in PvE content, I think they're even better because once you get that third stack of Heartstrike, then the character is essentially useless. Like the enemy can't do anything, and it's really easy to apply with a lot of these characters. Their kits really work well with their passive. So let's kind of talk about that. First is Tantalo. His is pretty self-explanatory because he has poisons. And the poisons are going to proc the Heartstrike, so that's going to allow you to get Heartstrike 3 very quickly. Also, he's kind of like Degos in the sense that he's, you know, block character, but not only that, he has so not only that, so his A1, he's going to be poisoning all enemies. You got to be careful with that ability because if they have first guardian characters, you don't want to do this move at all because you're just going to completely stack them on their shields, even though if you might be hitting one of them with the Heartstrike, it doesn't matter if other ones are on the team because they're going to do a ton of damage. But if they don't have them, definitely safe to use this move. It's a really good move because not only are you going to be poisoning targets, you're also increasing the attack of all allies, and then you're increasing the block of all allies. So it's like, oh, this move is very unique, and no one really has a move that not only poisons them, increases your attack, increases your block. And then as A2, he has something you know, very similar, but he's doing the opposite. He's doing a single target poison and he's decreasing their attack. So very good in the dragon, very good, pretty much a very all-around solid character that you can fit in almost any type of content out there. There just might be better choices, but if this is what you got to work with, he's a fantastic choice. Okay. And then Hecken, I would say he's probably the worst, if not second worst out of these characters. I'm using him for I currently use him in the Lunatic Challenge on Fire Days to get the new, you know, season 2 gear. I pair him with Annie, and then what happens is he'll have enough mana for this on the start, and he'll do the AOE. They'll all counter him, but he won't take any damage because of Annie. So it's really not about him; it's more about Annie. And then when he actually becomes useful, though, is his Heartstrike passive will proc on the final boss of the challenge. And then I can just use Death Sentence here, and then it's a burn. So then I'll be able to do that. And then immediately after it starts to tick, he's immediately with 3 Heartstrike. And then I never have to worry about the boss actually doing damage to me because he's blinded and it's over. So it makes it, especially in the Lunatic challenges, essentially if anyone touches you, you're going to die. So being able to guarantee that the guy that actually can, like, you know, one-shot you doesn't hurt you is pretty sweet. Even though this strategy that I have is very dependent on having an Annie or actually getting him to level 90 and then element enhancing him to, be able to break 2 stones. But at the same time, as I say that, I realize that you also need the mana from Annie to even get to the point to do this move at the start. So definitely need Annie for this to work. And then when it comes to Luke, I feel like Luke's in a very competitive position. Same with Tantalo, because there's just so many characters that fill this, this style of character. We got the new I forget her name, but she pairs with Dorka. She's out. You also got Digos with the Summer Blessing. You got Illum, Tantalo in the same string. There's definitely a lot of characters that have this, that are very good characters that have this, block style kit. Is it definitely not bad by any means. And if you don't have the choice of all of them, you can't go wrong with picking him if you got him. Heartstrike's a really good passive. The combination of being able to provoke someone manually. One thing I like about him, though, kind of separates himself, is not only is he doing the increases his own maximum health in the shared health, but he's increasing the defense of all allies by 23%. And then that's going to go up as you level him up. I believe I can't show it here on the enhance, but if you were leveling him up, it won't show. You gotta, once you level him up or gear him up, then the percentage, the actual modifier of the defense up will go up. I really counter for this passive because you're going to apply Heartstrike 1. Then if they attack you, or you attack them, if they counter you, you counter them. Like, depending on the character, what you can do is, for example, you want to counter a First Guardian character. This is especially useful against, like, people don't do this anymore, but like solo Xeon or solo Anna. What you can do is, what I like about them, they're both counter characters. They work really well in countering the First Guardian characters, especially back when, if you ever still encounter this in PvP, especially in tag, or you ever see this scenario happen where they have the first Heartstrike passive, what you can do is they're going to have Heartstrike passive 1, and then the animation is very obvious if they have it, by the way. And then you hit them, they're going to counter you. You have counter, so then you're going to hit them immediately after. So now you've already hit them twice, which it gives them Heartstrike 3. So immediately off your first move, without only having to auto them, they're going to be Heartstrike 3, and then they're completely out of the fight. Synergy with passive of the Fatecore here. Definitely a big fan of this. Then also he has the increases ally attack by 20% for 7 turns. I don't know how valuable this is. I think there's a lot of characters that have this. I think this is kind of more of a bonus than anything. Probably you do this in Dragon, you get 6 turns of 20% increased attack, but then at the cost of a move. So it's really hard. He could have actually done damage, so you got to weigh the damage you lost from not doing a move, and then the 20% you gained, and then not necessarily everyone's going to do the damage. So it's hard to say. I think this is more of like a setup style thing for like Labyrinth or some very unique challenges you're trying to do where you are trying to time a burst, but very niche. I can't really think of anything in particular that the game absolutely needs something like this. Also, another thing is, like, it's really hard to set up these kind of moves because not only do they take mana, but then you can't really manipulate speed too much. So attack boost in this game, like, could be really good. If you can manipulate that kind of stuff, and like, for example, in Raid, attack boosts are everything because you give them a whole bunch of speed, and then they go first, and then give you the attack boost, and then you lay out the damage. Whereas in this game, it's not that easy. He has a very high percentage damage move on like burst move on his A2 here. 1050% damage, which is crazy on a burst move. If you want to counter a First Guardian character, like, he is absolutely built for that. The two things, Heartstrike passive, high damage nuke, both counter dragon characters. Like that is the way to counter First Guardian characters, and he has them both in his kit. So he's like the counter. And then same here with Adams. Similar thing that I was saying about Morris. And he has a damage A2, and then he has a damage A3 with burst, 4 mana, 750%. Very similar kits here. Just instead of the attack percentage increase for your team, you just have a damage move here. And me personally, I just want the damage. I would prefer that. Also, he's a lunar character, which is significantly more rare than a machine character here. I like them both. Would be happy with both. I ended up getting Adams. If I had Morris, I would be happy with him too. Okay, so I almost forgot about Jin. Let's talk about him real quick. Currently, I don't think he gets much use. So much of his kit is really based off Janai, with the silence needing Janai, the branding needing Janai. Like, pretty much half his kit is needing charm, and you don't even really get to use it that often. Also, you got to actually pull Janai and him, which is rare for most people anyway. So I think he's Jin's always been a good character. This is obviously a better version of him, but it's not like Jin is one of the best characters in the game and then you're making him better. It's like he's a solid character that gets a little better, and you need specific synergy to really unlock his kit. I think the other characters are significantly better as standalone. Like these are a lot better plug and play. Don't need any synergy, just throw them in, and they're gonna like kind of round out a team. That's why I think people see him so often in tag team, is that they're just such a good, like, oh, okay, don't know what to do. All right, just throw in, Luke, or throw in Tantalo, or oh, you need a backliner, or throw in Adams or Morris. It just fits really well. Even Jin, I see a lot of Jin too, just because Heartstrike passive is obviously really good, and then you're just looking for a body, and they're a really solid option for you. And then now that the challenges are gating you from the rank 2 gear, they actually are pretty hard. So finding characters that actually excel at that is really nice. And Jin would be one of those for machine days. Machine days are notoriously hard for challenges. So I think he can be pretty clutch there. So that's my thoughts on Jin. I think they're all really good characters. That's pretty much it for this video. If you have any more questions about this video, be sure to let me know down in the comments below. And you guys have a good one. Peace.